Welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can embrace astrology and take it into your life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Alison. In this video we're going to look at 5 ways that you can incorporate astrology into your life over and above doing basic chart reading, which is the way many people start with astrology. The idea being that when you learn astrology, you're basically going to be learning first up the 4 building blocks of astrology, the signs, the planets, the houses and the aspects. And from that basic knowledge, you can then read charts. But there are other ways to bring astrology into your life that don't actually involve just working on a chart. Although that is the main thing that astrologers do, there are many ways that you can incorporate astrology into your life without actually doing charts, and almost as though it's a way of life. And that's what I'm really going to be talking about today. Okay, so as I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about embracing the art of astrology. I'm going to give you a few ideas on how to actually make space in your life to use astrology, and it doesn't always have to be in the ways that we originally thought. There are several different ways to tap into the energies of astrology and some awareness of astrology. So let's have a look at some going forward in astrology, a few steps to embrace the art of astrology. So first up, you're going to want to immerse yourself at an intensity that suits you. And this really does depend on who you are and what's happening in your life. If you've got an hour a day to spend on astrology, that's great. If you've got 2 hours a day, that's great. If you only got 1 hour a week, then that's what your intensity will be. You can only put so much towards it, and that decision will be yours to make. So the 5 points we're going to go over are to act, to contemplate, to measure, to respect, and to plan. Now, when we're talking about acting, what I'm trying to say here is that what you actually do is how you change things. So first up in acting would be your thoughts, because this is always the first thing that occurs. You have an idea, you start to think about something in a different way or in a new way, and you can certainly do that now with astrology. Then we have your words. What are you going to be doing about it? Where you actually formulate in your head that perhaps you're going to maybe take a course, or maybe you're going to read that book, or maybe you're going to write that book. But in some way you're going to use your words from the thoughts that you formulated to move forward with your astrology. Then we want to think about, what are your deeds going to be? What are you going to do to improve your astrological understanding? Will you be doing some fancy writing some glyphs like this guy? Not that they're astrological, but anyway, he says right there, do more astrology every day. That's exactly what he's writing. And the point is, what are you going to do about it? And you can actually do following your thoughts, your words and your deeds to actually create something, create an astrology journal, start planning how you're going to be moving things forward. The second point I have for you today is to contemplate. You need to spend time thinking about the meaning of astrology and how it does affect your life. Do you see astrology as an art or a science, or just something kind of weird, or something that you'd like to use as an add-on to an already existing New Age business like tarot reading or something like that? So here you want to ponder the deeper meaning of what astrology is for you, how you see it, so you can understand how it's actually going to work on a deeper level in your life. Our second point for contemplation will actually be that you can follow the sun. And by that I mean, get your birth chart out, make sure you know where the sun is, and as it changes house through your chart, as it transits through the houses of your chart, make sure you're fully aware of which house the sun is illuminating and stimulating, so that you can actually be energized in the nature of your sun. And that will change virtually every month as the sun moves through the houses in your chart. Through contemplation as well, you can follow the moon. Now this is moving way quicker. Typically the moon will take 29 days to go around your chart, but if you can pay attention to the conjunctions the moon makes to your planets and realize that they will be, say, a moon conjunct Jupiter day, and see how that's playing out for you, you can contemplate how things went and get a deeper understanding of the lunar energies as they affect you. So let's talk about measuring how far you've come in your astrological journey, because we can talk about astrology for 25 years and still not be able to read a chart, which is very often the case. However, if you're a relatively new astrologer, and by that I mean you've been learning astrology for less than 12 months, you're going to want to start measuring whereabouts you are, what you know, what you're going to do next. And for astrologers, the year is conveniently cut into 4 quarters at the cardinal ingresses on March 21st, June 21st, September 21st, and December 21st. And these are the main cardinal quarters. They signal the beginning of the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter. And these are great times for you to measure, to reflect and say, in the last 3 months, I have seen 10 clients. I've written 2 pages in my book. I learned about Jupiter. I've explored Chiron deeper, or something else. Or you're going into one of the more abstract approaches to astrology. Perhaps you're looking into the Uranian astrology or something like that. The point is that you want to be measuring what you did in the last quarter, because we want to pay attention to that. And you also need to be paying attention to what you plan to do in the next quarter, because the next quarter is around just over 90 days. But really, we can call it a 100 days chunk. It's a good chunk of time. It's a quarter of the year. And these are brilliant days to reassess, recalibrate yourself on what you plan to do in the next quarter. Then we have respect, and this is an attitude to take towards astrology. Really, it comes down to just 3 points here. You need to know what you believe regarding astrology and be firm on that, what you believe astrology is, what it can do, and maybe what it can't do, and even why it works or who should use it or something like that. But your beliefs on astrology, you need to respect those as well. You don't want to be swayed by the next person you meet who says, oh, well, you should be doing this, and oh, well, you should be doing that. Or maybe they want you to do Vedic, or you want to do tropical, or something like this. Or they're saying, oh, you need to do the co-house system and get off Placidus, or something awful like that. But you don't want to be swayed by others. You want to respect what you believe in and why you are doing astrology in the first place. Next up, you need to actually respect what they believe. That people who have gone before you, the writers of the astrology books that you're listening to, the people who are giving lectures that you are attending, the leaders in the astrological community, respect what they believe too, because they're walking their path, and it might not be exactly what yours is. They may have different views on what's the order for a conjunction or something like that. And you still need to be able to respect what they believe. And you can do that firmly in the knowledge about when you know what you believe. I also believe that respecting people's space as well. And if you're an aspiring astrologer trying to grow a small astrology business, or even a large one for that matter, you want to let them come to you. I believe that your customers will find you, your clients will find you through what you are putting out there. Because there really is an astrologer for every person. I don't suit everybody, but I suit a certain sector of the community, and they come to me. I don't have to go hounding people and pushing my business on them. They actually just keep coming to me, and it does show in how you put yourself out there. So in a way, it's respect your potential clients and customers as well. You don't want to be bombarding them with information, and let them choose, but respect their decision to come to you. The fourth point I want to say is to plan. We want to plan to make sure we're moving forward in some way. So first of all, you have to look at the overall journey you're taking with astrology. What is your overarching goal, and where are you trying to get to? Are you trying to learn astrology for your own personal pleasure? Are you trying to learn astrology so that you can help other people? Or are you trying to learn astrology because you want to have a business and live on a beach and that kind of thing? And the thing is, what is your overall journey? What are you trying to achieve? Because every astrologer has a different goal in mind, and you need to spend some time planning what it is you're trying to achieve with this astrological knowledge that you are soaking up every single day. You also need to do a bit of planning. So you need to with the path that you are on, which we now know through your journey, you need to do a little bit of planning to decide what are your next steps. Are you going to attend an astrology conference next year? Are you going to take another couple of advanced lessons? Are you going to seek out a mentor who can help you? Or even just go to your local astrology group where you can hang out with people who believe in astrology is very much the same as what you do. What is your plan for your next move on your journey? And from this, we can see that as the little sapling is growing there will ultimately be a massive oak. The things you are doing today, this week, this month, and this next quarter, and the next year will stand you in good stead in the future. And decisions made now about how you want to invest in yourself through astrology will be reflected later on. You're not going to see the immediate benefits of placing an advert somewhere or doing one or two charts or something and not getting a good response. Maybe you do, but you won't see the actual results of the actions you take now until later. And astrologically, of course, we can look forward and see them as well. But the idea is to plan for your future, to make sure that the steps you are taking will get you where you want to go and not necessarily where you think you ought to go with reading charts or research or whatever. So your future growth plans are sourced in what you're doing today. Having spoken about these 5 points, I thought that it would be fun for me to give you some instruction as one does. So I'm suggesting this is your personal astrology assignment, and you may accept this assignment should you so wish, or whatever they say. So what I've got here is some ideas on what you can actually do in this next quarter to get your astrology learning on track. So first up, you're going to have your astrology journal to hand. I like to use the Leuchtturm 1917, the dot journal. This is just an example of a blank journal here, but in some way you need a journal that's with you, that's perhaps on your desk or in your creator studio where you're working or where you are plotting and planning your astrology life. So in your astrology journal, you're going to use it in these two specific ways. So on an open double page such as this, you will put the words on the right-hand side. Typically, I'm talking to right-handed people. If you're left-handed, do it the other way. So because we write in English from left to right, you want to be writing from the join of the page towards the outside. That's why you write your words on the right-hand side. Also, if you're right-handed, you don't want to cross the center line. It's easier to write from the center out to the right. And then on the opposite page, the left-hand page, that's where images go, because we're now trying to tap into your brain where you've got basically words on one side and images on the other. Again, it's one way of doing it. Of course, if you're left-handed, it would typically go the other way. The point being that when you are preparing a journal, you want to write on the right and draw the picture that goes with it on the left, because that's an aid to memory. So the first thing we're going to do is, going back to what I've said, is we're going to do some acts here. You may want to write a piece there on the right-hand side about the actions you want to take, but the drawing is draw one action that you can take this week to improve your astrology. Now, of course, with drawing, if we would want to maybe put in a chart or practice some glyph work or have a deep dive into sesquiquadrats or something like that. And the image I actually have there is of a declination too. And this was my thought, that you could perhaps spend this week looking into declination, know what it is, know which planets do it, and really understand one little topic and actually go out and find more information on it. So that's the part for act. Then for contemplation, again, that will be your title on the right-hand side. You can write some points there about how you see yourself with contemplation. And on the left, you would draw yourself in contemplation. The idea being that you are paying attention, that you are contemplating. This may stretch into doing some meditation. It might be somehow how you do yoga, but you need to provide yourself some space to think about what it is you're doing astrologically, and also if you want to, say, study, Saturn in greater detail, you need time to think about these things, to consider what you read in all the research that you did. So draw yourself in contemplation, and actually, ideally, you will have what you're going to be contemplating in the next week or so right there. Next up, we are going to measure. We're going to measure ourselves and how far we've come and how far we haven't come. And so on this right-hand side page, you're going to write the next solstice or equinox date, which will either be March the 21st or March, June, September, or December the 21st, whatever the next solstice or equinox date is. And at this point, you want to draw all of your clients, student fans, or email subscribers around you. Now, the idea is that it depends what you're trying to achieve. If you're a moderately successful astrologer already, maybe you're trying to build your email list or your YouTube channel. And if you're a practicing astrologer who's wanting to start doing client work, this is what you draw around you, these clients. You're trying to visualize them and bring them into reality. You want to attract the people you need around you, but it depends what you're doing, who you would want to attract. So it could be clients who are going to have their chart read. It could be students if you happen to be an astrology teacher. It could be your fans in general, your Facebook bunch, all the social media followers, if you like. Or it could be that you wanted to attract your email subscribers. Now, ideally, 1 or 2 would be great, but of course, more would be perhaps even better. But you do need to make sure that you are attracting the people you want, and you do this by measurement, by saying that in the next quarter you want to get, say, 4 more clients or 4 more people on your email list or whatever it is. And we are specifying here, and we're drawing down the actual image of who you'd like to see. It's almost like saying, who is your ideal client? And you would draw them there. Next up was respect, and here we're going to talk about find images of people, guides, or gurus that you respect, because really we're respecting those who went before us, we're respecting what our beliefs are in astrology, and we're also respecting that our clients will find us when we can help them. And here I have an image, for instance, of Mandela, and that would be a guide or guru for you. So the idea being that you could even cut out pictures and so on, but the idea is the images go on the left and respect commentary would actually go on the right-hand page. Next up, we want to talk about some planning, what we're going to be doing. So this is where you want to draw your master plan. We're talking about the journey. We spoke about the next steps, and then we also considered how you're going to get there. And if you have a master plan about how you plan to get to achieve your overarching goal on the journey you're taking with astrology, that's what you want to draw in here, so that it might be confusing. It might just be one straight path, such as a labyrinth is, or it could be a maze where there are some dead ends and nooks and crannies that you just haven't had time to go down. But if you know where you're going, this is where you would put your master plan. So you would draw that you're going from point A to point B, and ultimately the goal is to be whatever it is you want to be. Maybe you want to be a teacher, maybe you want to have many clients, maybe you want to write horoscopes, whatever you're trying to achieve in astrology. And honestly, they don't even have to be business related, but you have to know what is it you need to know in astrology to get better at it, so it can be more valuable in your life. And you do that by drawing your master plan. And again, on the right-hand side, you can write some points there about what you plan to do first, take a class, go to a conference, write a book, read a book, and anything like that would be an ideal thing to put into your plan. So there you have it. I've gone over 5 ways that you can bring astrology into your life. And really, whether you do 1, 2, or 3, or all 5 of them, that's totally up to you. Let's be honest, you don't have to do any of it. To make you a more well-rounded astrologer, these are good ways to start tapping into the energy of astrology in your life. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving me a like and subscribing, or share it with someone who would be interested to see it. I'd like to hear from you. Are there any of these points that resonate with you that you're likely to take into your life, or otherwise share with me how you do it? We'd be interested to see. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alison Price. I'll see you next time.